Shalom Akim. I'm gonna give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Racha Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who teach and rule well. And salutation to all the Akim in all four corners of earth who's pushing this truth and sincerity. Shalom Akim. When you get into this article here, it says a gathering of military leaders. Trump hints at deployment in U.S. cities. President Trump and the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth spoke to nearly the entire senior officer corps of the military. It was an unprecedented gathering at a military base south of Washington. Hegseth announced new directives, and the president laid out a vision to use the military not against overseas enemies, but for threats he sees here at home. Nick Schifrin discussed more with Margaret Donovan. We've been blowing this trumpet, blowing this horn, warning our people for some time, and about the things, the dangers is coming down the road. This president that we have in office right now is not playing with you people. He's gonna unleash, and he's showing you that, man. He's telling you that rather, but also he's been showing you because he's bringing the National Guard into different cities. He also has ICE agents running around arresting people in different cities and different areas. America is it's turned upside down, and the people are asleep. Well, because they still have their entertainment and follies going. So as long as that's going, it's going to keep the people asleep. They're not paying attention to the news at all. You ask them a simple question about what Trump is doing or anything about these officers gathering. Did you watch the news on that? They ain't going to tell you nothing, but they can tell you every score of every sport game, how their favorite running back or baseball player hit the ball or dunked the ball. They can tell you all that, but they can't tell you about the things that are going on right now. That's because the Lord has not put that spirit of discernment into you. This is what we have, that spirit, man. This is why we have to do the videos and get on the highways and byways and still condemn this place, man, through the scriptures, man. So these military officers, senior officers, all met up in DC. It says in Washington, south of Washington. They're having meetings, man. They're talking about what's going on here in America, because you got to remember, you have different groups here in America that at one point Trump was pushing and now he's against them, and vice versa. They're turning on Trump as well, man, these different groups, man, but it's just more and more showing its times we're in, man. And it's wild that this Hegseth, he also went in and talked about the beards. He's cutting beards off. He don't want no military with beards. He talked about the women in the military. This guy went in, man. He talked about how they changed the name of the Department of Defense to the War Room, if I got mistaken. And he's just changing a lot of things. He's coming in and putting down the iron fist, man, during Trump's rule, during Trump's bid. This is Proverbs 4:16. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. These people are violent, man. Here it is where you have war fronts all over. Truthfully, America right now is spread all over the world right now, as far as their military fronts and fights going on. You have they're helping, Israel out somehow, some way, whether it be financial or military support. They're bombing stuff up in Yemen. They haven't stopped that. That's been going on. When all Afghan war was going on, all those other wars going on, we were still bombing Yemen, man. Yemen is still being bombed, and that's a country that a lot of the people don't know nothing about. And it's not on the news. They're not going to look it up. They're not going to find out anything about it. But yeah, America has long 20, 30-year bombing campaigns going on, and they're still going on to this day in different countries. All the points in the Middle East, I'm not too sure about Afghanistan. I know if we're out of there, it was just within the recent years, because America has been just bombarding them. And the list goes on and on. We can continue going on. But the point was that America is spread. And what about Taiwan? China's kicking up dust. They want Taiwan, and they think America's, because they have a base over there, that they're going to help protect them and stuff, or have a aircraft carrier in the waters over there. It's a deterior, yes, but, when China wants to make its moves, it's going to make its moves. the Lord puts a spirit on him, he's going to do what he want to do, you know? This is Proverbs 14. Let me continue reading 14 and almost 14 and 18. 4 and 18. It's like, but the path of the just is as a shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. The way of the wicked is darkness. They know not at what they stumble. You know, and once again, these troops, you know, they're gonna be going against their own friends, their own homies and stuff, you know. And this is just the times we're in, man. You know, these are perilous times that we're in right now, man. You know, and when a president is bringing federal troops to police the cities, you know, talking about the crime is so rampant in some of these cities, this is just another call for martial law, so to speak, man. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, Trump is riling up, you know, the troops to get ready. This is Jeremiah 30 and 6. Ask now ye. It's like ask ye now, and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all his faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for the day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. You know, so once again, we've been talking about these Jacob's trouble for quite some time, man. And Jacob's trouble is just not for you Israelites, man. It means trouble to Esau, to all these other nations. Why? Because it will be all-out war front in carnage and just blood on the streets. We're talking about civil war coming to America, man. You know, I was just watching, before I started this video, I was watching a little video about the Antifa marches in California, man. You know, Slacky, it was Oregon, and how they're, you know, going at it, man. You know, so you don't know who's who and what's what going on out there, man. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, these are the things that have to happen, man. They've been written in the scriptures, and they have to happen, man. You know, Jacob's trouble is coming, and it's here, man. You know, and this devil is getting ready to come down, man. You know, and he's not playing. He's sending in all his top generals and getting them keyed up and ready, man. If it's your little cousin, don't worry. We'll just put him in jail for a long time, man. You know, but he will be detained. You know, they're not playing, man. You know, Trump is coming through with his top generals, and this guy Hedgeslith. There's Pete Hedgeslith. This dude is not playing, man. You know, he's all about. You can tell in his voice and the way he's carrying his demeanor. When I seen him speak, he was all about action, man. You know, Esau has a bunch of war dogs on his team too. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. You know, he knows he has a short time, so he has to do all he can do, man. You have political people on the other side of the globe who are speaking out against us because we're on the highways and byways, because we're making videos about this place, man. They say that we're the biggest threat. When these troops get ready to move, and we're just so happen to be on the highways and byways, you know, just be prepared. There's a possibility that some of us might be arrested, man. It's just what it is, man. You know, this is what we signed up for. This is what the Lord chose us to do. You know, we didn't sign up for it. The Lord chose us to do this work, man. You know, it's just a part of the job, man. You know, and we know what comes afterwards, man. You know, we know what comes with things that are going to happen, what's coming afterwards, man. You know, so that's why we're ushering these things. We want Esau to make his move. We want Donald Trump to go ahead and make his move, because, you know, we know the things that's going to happen, man. We are men of the Lord. We read the scriptures. We have a great understanding of the scriptures. These are things that must happen, man. You know, where did I want to go? I'm gonna just get this top part. This is 2 Timothy 3 and 1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, man. And we are in perilous times, man. You know, everything's difficult, man. You know, it used to be easy doing things, man. It used to be, you know, you could go to the grocery store with a couple dollars and get a bunch of groceries. Those days is over with. Trump is bringing the National Guard to these different cities, you know, is it gonna make it worse, or is it gonna make it better, man? You know, it ain't gonna get no better, truthfully, man. It's only gonna get worse out here, man. The scriptures speak about that, man. We are in the time of Jacob's trouble, man, in perilous times, man. You know, perilous times come, you know, when these perilous times really hit, and then all hell's breaking loose on the streets, and we're off the highways and byways, you people will be looking for us, man. But it'll be too late, man. You know, it'll be too late to try to get this word, to ask questions, you know, the name of the Lord and all that good stuff. You missed it. You missed out. You know why? Because you chose to be rebellious. You know, our people are very rebellious. What is? Don't want to get. Yeah, people are very rebellious, man. And because of that, the Lord is going to judge you, man. You know, you're going to get that harsh judgment, man. You know, the one when your parents tell you not to do something and to get right, but you continually go left. So guess what? The Lord got something for you. You got these troops coming down. You got Esau coming down on your ass. And, you know, if you're not a man of the Lord, if the Lord is not dealing with you, then you're in trouble. You're going to be fish food out here. This is Isaiah 59:19. So they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him, man. And that's why we're fearless out here, man. The Lord is going to lift up a standard, man. He has us, man. You know, the Lord is going to do the fighting for us, man. You know, we just have to believe, you know, and then later on we get to put in work, man. You know, and that's the name of the game, man. Just believe in the Lord and continues to call on the name of the Lord. And you should be saved in these times, man. But if not, you will be a part of this great generals meeting when they come and scoop your black ass up or your Latino ass up. With that being said, I was edifying. Shalom, Akim.